Welcome. Yay, it's finally back. All Saints' Wake, the Final Fantasy XIV equivalent of Halloween, hasn't had a full event in over 2 years. In 2020, due to recent world events, the Make It Rain campaign was moved from summer into October, making a sort of combined event. But the only thing related to All Saints' Wake was the Haunted Manor, where you could get a temporary costume from the unsavory imp. In 2021, after various delays due to the aforementioned real-world events, All Saints' Wake was scheduled for the end of November, to occur shortly after the release of Endwalker. However, the release of Endwalker was delayed once more, and so the event was pushed into 2022. So what we are getting now is the 2021 event. I'm assuming, or hoping, we'll see another later this year in October. Anyways, it is currently active and will last until February 2nd. To participate in this event, you need any class or job at level 15 or higher. You can participate in the dungeon on any combat class or job, even at level 1. In the MSQ, you will need to have completed the quest It's Probably Pirates. To use one of the items from this event, you will want to unlock the Aesthetician by completing the quest Beauty is Only Scalp Deep, which starts in Limsa Lominsa. Like most seasonal events, each of the 3 starter cities has an NPC that will tell you about the event and where to go. In this case, look for Continental Circus publicists. Start by taking an airship or teleporting to Gridania. Pick up the quest All Clowns Wake from the Adventurers Guild Investigator across the way from Maketo's Amphitheater in Old Gridania. You know, I'm a member of the Adventurers Guild, but I don't recall seeing you around. What's weird is he says there's been no sign of the Continental Circus this year, but what about this guy? It says so right over his head. Am I the only one who sees that? Anyway, rumors of an individual only known as the Scarlet Snout have been circulating, and he wants you to investigate, by questioning a few people around town, of course. There are 2 in Old Gridania, and 2 in New Gridania. The consensus is that he's inviting people to some sort of banquet at his home, and these people don't want this information to get out, cause snitches get stitches? Well, the investigator decides the only way is to use you as bait. I mean, send you on a stakeout. You wait by the river by the Leatherworkers Guild for him, and he soon shows up. And he tells you his real name is Papa Gruff. Yeah. He then invites you to his place, and tells you to meet him under a bridge in Bent Branch Meadows. Kids, don't meet with strange clowns under bridges. Check in one more time with the investigator, and then head off to Bent Branch in the Central Shroud. You find a spot just south of the bridge where you can catch a glimpse of Papa Gruff and his accomplices making plans. He's got his whole family involved. There's Mama Gruff, and Little Gruff too. They're like the 3 bears, so I guess that makes me Goldilocks? Seems they are luring people into something dreadful, but exactly what, you have no idea. Might be time to call McGruff the crime dog. The investigator meets you nearby, and turning in the quest, you get some gil and some experience. The next quest has a blue symbol, so that means it's unlocking content. The investigator introduces you to his friend.
My name is Mark!
Mark believes Papa Gruff may be the Doomsday Clown, whatever that is, and he's trying to capture people's souls, and not in a good way. So they want you to go save them. He gives you 2 artifacts, the Fiendish Lantern for busting ghosts, and the Healing Holy Water to protect you and rescue souls. He can't guarantee the items or your safety, but he seems fine with that. So go under the bridge to accept Papa Gruff's invitation, and then talk to the Harlequin Guide to enter the dungeon. It's a 4-person dungeon based on Tam Tara Deepcroft. Your main goal is to save souls with the water, and you have the lantern to defeat the ghosts. However, there are also 3 boss encounters. Well, more like mini-games, really. And you get some pumpkin cookies when you finish. More on this later. Head back to Gridania where you first met the investigator to turn in the quest. He asks for one of your cookies, but don't worry, he gives it back. But guess who else shows up?
Oh, hi, Mark.
So they thank you for testing out the lantern and the water and ask you to consider going in again to save more souls. Just then, you all overhear Mr. Gruff and his gang planning even more trouble. Aren't there laws against capturing souls? Shouldn't somebody call the wood whalers to arrest them? You get a little experience, another cookie, and an achievement. And he also slips you a plain brown envelope. I thought it might be Papa Gruff's criminal record, but it's actually face paint instructions. Use this and then head to the inn to summon the aesthetician. This gives you a new face paint option, just like Papa Gruff's. At this point, Shady Smock shows up in the amphitheater to sell you stuff for your pumpkin cookies. The clown outfit will cost a total of 12 cookies. The 5 parts are each sold separately and can be stored in the armoire. You can use the visor emote to remove the nose if you just want a top hat, and the entire outfit can be dyed. Sorry, Viera and Hrothgar. Each of the 2 housing items cost 3 cookies each. The Haunted Pumpkin set is an outside housing decoration, while the Pumpkin Flower Vase is a tabletop item for inside your apartment. After 6 p.m. Eorzea time, these have a special surprise. Tiny ghosts appear to haunt your home. And for 1 cookie you can get a stack of 10 pumpkin magic prisms, which temporarily puts a pumpkin on your head and makes bats fly around you. To get one of everything, you would need 19 cookies, which would require 3 perfect runs of the dungeon for 6 each, plus the one you get from the quest. Warning, the following commercial contains flashing. By that I mean flashing lights and colors, not people flashing. That would be icky. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Do you remember the days before the internet?
When Tone Loc was relevant?
8-bit graphics were the state of the art.
And Dungeons and Dragons was satanic?
Backwater J remembers.
Check out his channel for comedy,
Gaming.
Music.
Gaming. Spoken word. Gaming.
guitar mods,
Gaming.
And whatever this is.
He's reluctantly digital.
casually misogynistic,
Obsessively whimsical.
and accidentally hilarious.
Backwater J.
Now with Cat Girls.
We now return to our scheduled program where nobody flashes anybody. While you are on the second quest, the Harlequin Guide is under the bridge in the Central Shroud. After you complete the quest, he moves to the stage of the amphitheater. He can also be found in Acorn Orchard in New Gridania. Talking to him, you are given the option to enter the dungeon. This will put you in a queue like any other dungeon. You will end up in a group of 4 players with no role requirements. When you get in, none of your usual actions will be usable, but instead you have 2 special actions. Fiendish Lantern is an untargeted frontal cone which will instantly destroy any of the clown wraiths. Any number of them too, if they are gathered together. It has a 15-second charge time, but has up to 3 charges. Healing Holy Water is used to free captive souls. You need to target them and then activate the action. It has a 5-second recast. Freeing souls seems to be directly connected to the number of cookies you get at the end of the dungeon. Try to get them all. HP recovery will also be disabled. Like most dungeons, there are 3 boss fights, or minigames. If you die, release, and there will be a shortcut back to the last minigame you completed. There's only one type of enemy to worry about, Clown Wraiths, who use a frontal cone attack. In the first section, there are 6 souls to save. Be sure to check any side rooms. You will soon find Little Gruff, who runs into a teleporter. Follow him into his playroom. You just need to open pumpkin chests until you get 100 points, while avoiding the bombs. When the bombs are black, you have the most time before they blow. Then they turn orange. When the telegraph appears, get away quickly. Sometimes the chests will open when you just walk through them, but you should stop briefly to be sure. Your ping may affect how quickly they open. Orange chests are worth 1 point, while white chests are worth 2. White chests seem to take slightly longer to open, but it is still pretty quick. The next section is just more ghosts and more souls to help. I believe there are 8, so you should have 14 by the time you get to the next challenge. Check all the side areas. You meet Mama Gruff at the tea, and she runs into the banquet hall. In the second minigame, Mama Gruff will be in the middle of a huge ring-shaped table and prepare food for you to eat. The party should start by evenly spreading out around the table. Mama will randomly begin placing 2 types of meals, standard dishes worth 2 points, and exquisite dishes, which I think are worth 6, but they take much longer to eat. Wraiths will begin spawning shortly after the challenge begins. Try to eliminate these quickly, especially if one is heading for somebody eating. You win when you get 100 points. Now use the second teleporter. In the next section there should be 16 souls to rescue, for a total of 30 before you face Papa Gruff. Be sure to check all these side areas. At first it just seems you need to disperse ghosts and save souls like the rest of the dungeon, except there are a lot more wraiths in a smaller area. Conserve your lantern if you can. Try to gather a bunch of wraiths together and take them out all at once. At one point, Papa Gruff will clone himself, and these clones will cover most of the arena in huge AoEs that overlap. Try to keep track of which is the oldest and prioritize getting out of those. They have a long cast, but if you are hit, your soul will be severed from your body. You will need to get back to your body to continue participating. Once you save 34 souls, the game ends, and you win and will be rewarded with some pumpkin cookies. You need to have rescued 30 souls to get 6 cookies. That's not counting the ones you saved in the final challenge though. Any less and you get 5 or less cookies. Also, be sure to give a commendation to one of the other players. As in previous years, you can speak to the genial geyser to be transported to the haunted manor. Go to the room behind the stairs and talk to the unsavory imp to get a costume. The available costumes will depend on the content you have completed, especially the MSQ. Costumes will be divided by expansion, however there are none for Endwalker. You can wander around the manor in your costume to RP or pose for pictures. You can perform most emotes, and you have an action called Tricksome Treat that seems to be just for fun. This is a pretty solid event, and it's nice to finally have an All Saints Wake after so long without one. The new dungeon is fun. It doesn't require the amount of coordination the previous one did, which should be less intimidating for some, but I think it's ultimately better that people learn to communicate in MMOs. Getting a new face paint option is nice, but several facial features are only accessible through face paints, such as freckles or the very bushy eyebrows. This means that some will have to sacrifice a character's distinguishing feature in order to use a novelty face paint option. I think these features should be separated into a new section. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And have a fun All Saints Wake. Goodbye.